Hi guys, welcome back to How I Lost My Husband to My Maid, Part 2, Episode 7. After the line went silent, I realized that the story I thought I understood was hiding an even darker truth. For the first time since I left, I agreed to meet at Daisy. Not because I had forgiven her, but because I needed answers. We met in a quiet cafe on the outskirts of town. She looked different. Tina, exhausted. The confidence she once carried had disappeared. I lied, she admitted, staring into our untouched tea. I wasn't faithful to anyone. I frowned. What do you mean? Tears streamed down her face. When your husband started pulling away, I was afraid of ending up with nothing. I made more bad decisions. My stomach tightened. Does Chinedu know? She shook her head. He believes the baby is his. Before I could respond, the cafe door opened. Chinedu walked in. He looked from me to Daisy. You told her? Daisy nodded. He turned to me. I came because I deserved to hear everything. Daisy took a deep breath. There are things neither of you know. She reached into her handbag, pulled out an envelope, and placed it on the table. I should have told the truth months ago. Neither of us moved. The envelope sat between us like a ticking clock. What was inside would have changed all three of our lives forever. The cafe suddenly felt too small. The envelope laid in the middle of the table untouched. Chinedu looked at Daisy. What is inside? What is this? She could not answer. Her hand shook so badly that she had to hold them together. I reached for the envelope first. Inside was several documents, a pregnancy report, a DNA test appointment form, and a small photograph. The moment I turned the picture over, my heart skipped. It wasn't a picture of Chinedu. It was a man I had never seen before. Who is he? I asked. Daisy covered her face and began to cry. He's Emeka. He was my boyfriend before I came to work in your house. I frowned. I thought you said you were single. I lied. She looked at Chinedu. I lied to everyone. Chinedu's face turned pale. You told me you had no one. I was afraid. Afraid of what? That if you knew the truth, you wouldn't want me anymore. For the first time since everything began, I saw regret on Chinedu's face. Not regret for losing me. Regret for realizing he had also been deceived. But the biggest shock was still to come. Daisy whispered, Emeka has been the one demanding money from me. What? He knew I worked in a healthy home. He threatened to expose everything unless I kept sending him money. My eyes widened. So all these bank transfers? She nodded. They weren't just for me. They were for him too. Chinedu slowly leaned back into his chair. The money he thought he was spending on the woman he loved had been flown into another man's pocket. His expression said it all. He had lost everything for someone who had been living a double life. A week later, the DNA result arrived. No one spoke as the sealed envelope was placed on the table. Daisy refused to open it. She pushed it towards Chinedu. With trembling hands, he unfolded the report. His eyes scanned the page. Then he closed them. The baby was not his. The room felt silent. Adaeze collapsed into tears. I'm sorry. Chinedu didn't respond. He simply stood up and walked towards the window. For several minutes, nobody moved. Finally, he spoke. I destroyed my family for nothing. His voice cracked. I threw away 12 years of marriage. He turned towards me, tears filling his eyes. Chioma, I made the biggest mistake of my life. I looked at him. For months, I had dreamed of hearing those words. Now that they had finally come, they brought me no satisfaction. Some apologies arrived too late. Some wounds never returned to the way they were. I forgive you, I said quietly. His eyes light up. But forgiveness isn't the same as reconciliation. The hope on his face disappeared. You chose your path, and now I must choose mine. He nodded slowly. Perhaps for the first time, he understood that actions have consequences that apologies cannot erase. 6 months later, the divorce had been finalized. I had rented a beautiful home closest to my daughter's school. Life wasn't perfect, but it was perfect and peaceful for me and my girls. I smiled again. I laughed again. I started rebuilding the part of myself I had neglected while trying to save a marriage that only I had been protecting. On Saturday morning, my phone rang. It was Chinedu. I just wanted to know how the girls are doing. They are doing well, I responded. There was a long silence. Then he said, I miss my family every single day. I believed him, but some doors once closed should remain closed. They are happy, I replied gently. And I hope one day you'll find peace too. After he ended the call, I watched my daughters playing in the backyard. Their laughter reminded me that my story had not ended with betrayal. It had simply changed direction. I finally understood something I wish I had known years earlier. Sometimes, losing the person you thought you couldn't live without is the very thing that allows you to find yourself again. As I closed the gate behind me, I walked towards my girls. I felt lighter than I had in years. Not because the pain had disappeared, but because it no longer controlled my future. This was how I lost my husband to my maid. I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you so much for listening. And remember, some doors are better left shut for you to have your peace, quietness, and moving on with happiness. Thank you and have a great day. Thank you so much for always liking my videos, always supporting me, always share and comment. Please, if you're not following me, follow me for more videos like this. Thank you and have a great day. Bye.